This one T makes sense until the moment you need it, and maybe that moment is now. What if the greatest knowledge ever possessed was simply knowing you don't know? Socrates, the ancient Greek philosopher, lived in a time when certainty was prized above all else. Yet, he claimed the opposite. He famously said, "I know that I know nothing." This declaration wasn't arrogance or despair, but a profound insight into the nature of understanding itself. If you're here, something in you is already shifting. Perhaps you feel lost in a sea of information and opinions, overwhelmed by the pressure to have answers. Maybe you're wrestling with your own doubts about what you really know about yourself, your beliefs, the world around you. You're in a moment of transition, standing at the edge of certainty and uncertainty, like Socrates did over 2 millennia ago. What makes Socrates so fascinating is how he approached knowledge not as a treasure to hoard, but as a horizon to endlessly approach. He challenged those around him not by delivering lectures or dogma, but by asking questions. Questions that expose contradictions, fake certainties, and flawed assumptions. It's as if he said to every thinker, "Have you really thought this through? What if the foundation of what you believe is not as solid as you think?" SFX, soft underscore wind. 3. Imagine ancient Athens, the crowded marketplaces, the debates echoing through the agora. People claimed wisdom, virtue, justice. Socrates moved among them, unsettling their confidence, because he knew something they didn't. He knew that true wisdom begins with recognizing your own ignorance. Here's the irony. At first, hearing "I know that I know nothing" feels like a surrender. ISNT knowledge about knowing things? ISNT wisdom about accumulating facts or mastering skills. Yet Socrates invites us to reframe this intuition. What if knowing you don't know is the seed from which true inquiry grows? What if the refusal to settle on easy answers is itself the mark of a wise soul? Can you notice the natural resistance inside you? When someone tells you they don't have answers, does your mind rush to fill the void? That rush is precisely what Socrates guides us to pause. Because certainty can be a cage, blinding us to deeper truths. The admission of ignorance is, paradoxically, a form of intellectual freedom. What questions might you ask yourself if you adopted Socrates' stance? Not to confirm what you already believe, but to uncover what you've been avoiding or unaware of. What do I think I know and why? Where might my convictions come from, if not pure certainty? How might my assumptions limit the person I could become? SFX, light infant, for Socrates didn't write anything down. So we know him through others like Plato, who recorded Socratic dialogues as a way of preserving these conversations. But the essence of Socratic philosophy lies not in the words alone, but in the method, the elenchus, or cross-examination. This method isn't confrontation. It's a gentle, persistent urging to think again, to inquire deeply, to strive for clarity. What if your inner voice became, for a moment, that inquisitive friend asking, "Why do you hold this belief? How do you define the good life? What does it mean to be just?" These aren't just philosophical puzzles. They are doors into your own psyche, your values, your soul's landscape. When Socrates says, "I know that I know nothing," it's not a negation. It's an invitation. It's an acknowledgement that knowledge is an endless journey. It's a mirror reflecting back to you the humility and courage required to live authentically in a complex, uncertain world. Look closer, ISNT, there a quiet power in admitting uncertainty, a subtle strength in embracing questions rather than answers. This is the heart of Socratic wisdom. It doesn't promise comfort or easy fixes. Instead, it offers clarity through intellectual honesty and personal integrity. This way of thinking cracks open the rigid structures of certainty. We often cling to identities, ideologies, self-images. It invites a movement towards individuation, as Carl Jung described. The process by which a person becomes whole by integrating what was hidden or denied within themselves. SFX, heartbeat underscore slow. 3. If your thoughts feel fragmented or your identity blurred, consider this. Socrates teaches that the self is not a fixed monolith, but a living conversation. Through questioning, you discover layers, contradictions, shadows. Far from weakening you, this process builds a resilient self-awareness. Maybe the nothing Socrates knows is not emptiness, but a fertile ground. A space where new wisdom can emerge born from the tension between what you think you know and the vast unknown. Not knowing becomes a powerful stance of curiosity and openness. Let me ask you, what if the greatest obstacle to your growth isn't external circumstances, but the illusion that you already hold all the answers? What if the freedom you seek lies in becoming a perpetual student of your own life? In modern terms, Socrates could be seen as the first therapist philosopher, helping others navigate their inner chaos not through prescriptions, but through dialogue. His method is still alive in therapy rooms, classrooms, and quiet moments of self-reflection. The question, how should one live, was Socrates' central concern. It echoes today in the whispers beneath your surface, in the moments you pause and wonder what really matters. His life was testimony to living examined, accepting discomfort to seek deeper meaning. Don't rush to conclude. Instead, carry this with you. The wisdom of knowing nothing is the wisdom to keep asking, keep feeling, keep awakening. In this quiet uncertainty lies a profound potential to rebuild yourself anew. Not on what you think you know, but on what you are willing to discover. SFX, gentle underscore bells. For so, the next time you face confusion, hesitation, or existential doubt, remember Socrates' legacy. It is not a weakness, but a path. A journey not to final answers, but to ongoing questioning. Because in the end, the question is the companion, not the answer. What question will you ask yourself today, knowing that you might not have the answer? And what might happen if you welcomed not knowing as the entrance to wisdom? The philosopher who knew he knew nothing invites you to sit with your own uncertainties, to listen deeply, and to awaken the curious mind that secretly resides in you. You're not alone in this. Your not knowing connects you to a lineage of seekers, ancient and modern, who understand that. True wisdom begins where certainty ends. SFX, soft underscore lingering. 5. If Socrates were here with us now, how do you think you would approach the vast complexity of the modern world? In an age overwhelmed with endless streams of information, opinions spinning faster than we can grasp, the lesson to know that you know nothing feels, if anything, more vital, not as a resignation, but as a survival strategy for the mind and soul. His philosophy invites us to slow down and challenge the noise, to listen to the subtle voice within that says, wait, what do I really understand here? It's less about finding quick answers and more about cultivating a certain kind of patience with your questions, with yourself, with the unfolding mystery of life. Consider the difference between false knowledge and Socratic wisdom. False knowledge is like building a house on sand. It looks sturdy until the first storm comes. Socratic wisdom builds on curiosity and humility, creating a foundation that adapts, shifts, and deepens over time. It invites you to become comfortable with ambiguity, to hold questions as gently as you hold answers. SFX, river underscore stream. For think about your own life. Have there been moments when certainty felt like a prison rather than a refuge? When holding on to a belief or identity squeezed your sense of freedom? Socrates' approach says, let go of the need to be right all the time. Let your understanding evolve. This is not easy. De egorebes. There is a deep psychological pull towards certainty because it promises security even if it's false security. The courage Socrates embodies is the courage to face that discomfort, to say I don't know in a world that demands certainty. When we talk about knowing nothing, it's important to clarify. Socrates did not mean ignorance in a shallow sense. He meant a profound awareness of the limits of one's knowledge. It's the difference between being blind to your blind spots and seeing them clearly, between dogmatism and intellectual openness. What would it mean for you to embrace this stance today? To treat your own beliefs, dreams, even fears, as hypotheses open to question rather than fixed dogmas? What fresh insights might arise if you allowed your mind to become a field of inquiry, rather than a fortress of defense? This is why Socrates remains a model for contemplative inquiry and self-examination. He demonstrates that true wisdom is not a destination, but a practice, a continual revisiting of your inner landscape, asking again and again, what do I really know? What am I afraid to know? SFX, crackling_fire. 5. Imagine this practice as a fire, burning away the illusions and pretenses that cloud your vision. It is a fire that may feel unsettling, but is purifying, revealing the raw, honest beauty of your authentic self beneath layers of assumption. Interestingly, Socrates' commitment to questioning eventually led to conflict. In his time, his relentless inquiry was seen as dangerous. He was accused of corrupting the youth and disrespecting the gods, sentenced to death by drinking hemlock. But even in the face of death, Socrates held to his principles. His final moments remind us that living an unexamined life, no matter how comfortable, is ultimately impoverished. How do you face your own hemlocks those moments when conforming or silencing your questions seems safer? What lessons might Socrates offer you in those moments? Perhaps the strength to choose authenticity, even when it demands solitude or sacrifice. Socrates' legacy endures because he shows us the power of vulnerability in thought. He makes vulnerability a strength, not a weakness, trusting that the path of questions leads to deeper connection with yourself and others. What if the next great revolution began inside your mind? What if dismantling your knee-jerk certainties opened the door to new ways of seeing your relationships, your purpose, even your pain? The transformation Socrates hints at is subtle but seismic. By adopting his humility, the humility of genuine not knowing, you may find yourself more present, more attuned to the complexities of life, less attached to the ego as stories, and more open to the unfolding of something larger and stranger than you imagined. SFX, soft_chimes. 3. Many modern thinkers have echoed Socratic themes. Take Carl Jung, who spoke of the shadow, the unconscious parts of ourselves we refuse to face. Socrates' method, in a way, invites you to shine light on your shadow through honest questioning. Or Alan Watts, who taught that the mystery of life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be embraced with humility and awe. These reflections show that Socrates' ancient wisdom is far from outdated. It resonates deeply with the psychological, spiritual journeys we still embark on in search of meaning. Pause for a moment and allow your mind to dwell on this. What assumptions about yourself or your world are you ready to question? What beliefs might you gently set aside to create space for new understanding? Remember, Socratic wisdom doesn't demand that you discard everything, but that you hold your beliefs lightly open to revision. SFX, nature_warning_birds. For the philosopher who knew he knew nothing teaches us that self-knowledge is a sacred practice. It requires courage to admit uncertainty and grace to live with it. This practice changes not only how you think, but how you live, with curiosity, openness, and an abiding sense of wonder. As you move forward, carry with you the quiet power of Socratic inquiry. Let it be a companion in moments of doubt, a reminder that the questions you ask are often more illuminating than the answers you seek. And finally, consider this in knowing your own limits. You might discover a boundless space inside yourself, a space of endless possibility, waiting for your exploration and your courage. What would happen if you embraced that space today? SFX,